Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at Kindest Gnomes. Absolutely love this one. It's all storybook, fairy tale, little gnome houses, gnomes. Christmas time, yes, you can have the gnomes at Christmas, but also throughout the year in the UK, and I know in other parts of the world, in Australia, I've had a lady from Australia who knows we have garden gnomes in the garden, so you can have them in amongst flowers and all sorts of things. And I thought I would do a bit of a mix and a match on this one today, something different for you. So we're using the Kindest Gnomes, but we're also going to team it up with Happy Hedgehogs because there's a lovely toadstool in there. There's little hedgehogs, there's little butterflies, and I just think it'll work beautifully with this one. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it in non-sort of traditional toadstool mushroomy type colours. So we're going to be doing it in mint macaron and greys. So that's my mint macaron in my stamp. That's in my cardstock. As you know, I always cut something out, so that's going to be my base to give me my sort of colour layering. And we need a large sort of piece that we can stamp out. Oh, that's a sneak peek of something else coming later on. So that is our toadstool. So let me just put that in on my block. And I need Memento because I'm going to be, this is water based and I'm going to be using alcohol markers. So you want water based with alcohol markers because then it doesn't bleed. It only bleeds when your colouring isn't that good, which sometimes mine bleeds, and if it does, it does, particularly if you've got new blends and they're quite juicy, or any of your alcohol markers. Some you can buy are refillable, and so right, that's the little house, which I think is so sweet. So that's one. Let me just clean that off. And you've noticed that I've started using my stickers. You have to remember to take it up from the corner because otherwise it can remove the rubber. So the stickers are absolutely brilliant because you can actually see what you're doing, which always helps, particularly on camera. As you know, sometimes I struggle because I'm looking underneath, but they do work really well. So that's that one in there. Then we need to have, we're going to have a couple of these little toadstools out of the Happy Hedgehogs. So this is photopolymer. I am using the same block. You know, we've got lots of different blocks and I have them all, but sometimes I will just use what I've got. And if you're just using a corner, you can just stamp it up like that. So we're going to have one, and then we're going to have another. And I'm going to put that down there. Really doesn't matter where it goes because we're going to be fussy cutting it out. And then I want to have a little hedgehog because rather than using the gnomes, I thought we could use a little hedgehog. Now, got to work out which one. I think it's going to be this one. And again, I'm using the same block. Because again, I've got a few subscribers now that are fairly new stampers. So, you know, you don't have all of the products and you don't need all of the products. You just need a couple of things that you know are going to work together and build it up over time. I've been a demonstrator for 6 years now, and you know, I started off with one stamp set and a couple of ink pads and just built my way up through there. Okay, so that's what we're using. And then we're going to be using colours. So I want to use, these are my greys. So I've got a light and a dark grey. And so I'm going to, this is my light grey. So I'm going to start off with that one and literally just take it up on here. Now, if you find it difficult on this nib, you can always use the bullet point. Bullet point can sometimes be a little bit easier. And I always try and do it quite, not go right to my edge, because they are very juicy and you can quite easily get bleed marks. So we're just going to take it up through on here. I turn it round as I go because I find it easier, particularly when I don't want to be going over things. So this is the pale, and again I just try and do it as carefully as I can. Yes, I want to do that in on here. So this is all coming in grey because I want a neutral looking card. I don't want it in traditional colours, to just show you that you can team it up with whatever you've got, and you don't have to do it in the traditional toadstool. You can do it in whatever colours you want. So this is coming down here. And again, you can do round and round circles, you can do backwards and forwards. They dry beautifully. So that's the light. Now I'm just going to take the dark, and I just want the dark to come really good, because you've got your lines in here which shows you where you're going to do it. So just along there, in along the top here, and then down on this side, and then you can just take it up where you see these lines coming. I'm not doing it in underneath because I don't want that to show, but I am going to do it along here. So along this tiny edge, again where those little lines are, they show you where your shadow marks are. So the artist has done the work for us, and we just need to colour it in like that. So that's the grey on there. Now while I'm at it, I need to do, let me get the other one out, I'm going to do these toadstools as well. So let me turn it that way around so I'm not going on to my work. And so again, I'm using the light first, and I'm going to take this up on here, and I'm going to take this in on this little bit underneath. So that's my pale, and again in on here, and then I'm going to take the dark, and I'm just going to add just a little bit underneath on here, down on the side, and down in underneath here, just to sort of demonstrate some dark just a little bit. Okay, so that's those two. So that was my light and my dark smoky slate. And now we've got the mint macaron. So I've got the light mint macaron, and I think I should be able to do it with this side. So this is my light. I'm leaving the doorknob open, so not colouring that bit in. And then I'm going to do the roof as well. So we need to have this, take the other side, the bullet point, and I just want to colour in underneath on there. So I'm going round my edges first, so that then I'm not going to bleed over this little window as well. So this is my pail. Do this window as well. With the bullet side. And again, I'm just doing these ones because we want them all to be the same colour. So I'm just going up over the top here, which would just make it easier. Then I can go on to my wider nib because it's then a bit quicker. But as I say, take your time doing it. I'm rushing it a bit, but it will just become beautiful. Down onto there. You can see how the blends really just soak in really nicely and give sort of a seamless finish. So round on this one. And round on that one. Okay, so that's our light. Then we can do our dark, and I'm going to use that with the bullet one. So on here, I just want to do a little bit of dark up on just the outside of the little door. And I think I'm going to do the little door frame in that and the inside of the little doorknob. Okay, and then in on here you can see again where our lines are, so I can do just taking those up in all of these little tiny bits. You can tell I'm going quiet because I'm trying to concentrate while I'm doing it, but it just gives a little bit of a, and I'm just going to do it along this bottom edge. There we go. And then on these ones we'll do the same thing just along this bottom edge and just up in on the side. Like that. Okay, so that's our toadstools and our little house done, which I think it's just going to look beautiful. And now we want to do the hedgehog. Now I don't want to do the hedgehog in dark colours and use the blends, so I'm going to use my pencils. So these are our watercolor pencils, and I'm using the two browns, which are that's supposed to be, is that crushed curry? It's like I want it on a brown one. Have I got another? I should have soft suede somewhere, I think. Have I got soft suede in on here? Maybe I didn't have soft suede. It's very difficult sometimes to see the, I have to look at the colours on the bottom of them, so it says me off camera. So we have all of these different coloured pencils, and I try and get things that are, so I think actually I'm going to do the body in, let's have the body in a bit of grey. So we could do it with the pencil in the grey, couldn't we? But I don't really want to do that. So I'm using the side of my pencil and I'm just going over in a little bit of the grey. and this is basic grey. So that can go on underneath. Now I am going to use this is crushed curry, but it gives just over the grey, will give a more subtle body colour. And again, we'll just blend it through with the side. We can take this one back in again and just put it on the side. Then we've got the Calypso coral for the body and the little spines. So again, side of the pencil. And what I tend to do is I'll go in one direction, then I'll turn it and go in the other direction. And keep turning it so that you're just building up the colour by turning it in different directions. So you're just building it up a little bit as you go. I think that'll probably be about right. Just need to do his little feet. And take my little bit of grey. There we go. Okay, so now we just need to grab our paper snips and we need to cut these out. So what I tend to do is I will just go through, we'll do him first. So we'll go through under his noses, and as I say, if you've seen me doing the fussy cutting and you're not fussed with this bit, then just fast forward it. But I always show for everybody. I've got lots of people who are, as I said, fairly new crafters, and they gain a lot of tips and ideas of how to do things from some of the videos where they're not cut about too much. So I do it literally as it is. There's no editing or anything on this. So as you all know, it's warts and all. But that's how we don't edit ourselves when we're sitting at our desk crafting. So that's what I tend to bring you, and it gives you an idea of time and what you're doing. So that's the little hedgehog. Little toadstools, again I cut them in half so I can see what I'm doing, and you haven't got too much paper, and you are turning. So this is the hand that you're using to turn, so you take it round and you're using your left hand to turn, or if you're left-handed, you use your right hand. But you're just going to turn round and just give this. Now, I've got to give a little bit of grass on here. I might give some mint macaron grass to just bring it through. So I'm just taking this up on here, down on this bit. It's a little bit tight. Up on this one. And that's that one. So do exactly the same with the other, and you can see it is fairly quick, and I'm not overly fussed with you know, whether I've got a big space, a little space, or whatever, because I'm putting it onto a white background, so it doesn't really matter a huge amount. If you're putting it onto designer series paper or a pattern background of some sort, then you might want to be a little bit more accurate. But doing it this way, it doesn't matter a huge amount. And as I say, at the end of the day, it's a handmade card, so you need to remember it's a handmade card, so you don't have to be overly, hold on, I just need to get this little piece out here, overly precise. you know, you can be as, now this one has a die with it, so this is easier. If you haven't got the die, cut it out, but I've got the dies, so I've put them all in here. So let me just find my, have I got him in, or have I, might even have him still out. Let me have a little look. So these are the dies, which are lovely. And you've got all sorts of different ones that you can build a complete gnome, and oh, lovely. We're going to be doing lots with it. So I am literally just going to take my die cutting machine. So it's very easy to do the main part of it. Let me just get my die cutter and we'll just pop this in on here. So, I don't know whether you can see that on there. Just need to take it up on like that. Put my plate over. Just run it through. I'm running it back on itself purely because it saves me having to run over to the other side. So that's made it lovely. So I think I'm actually a bit out, but that's because I was doing it in a rush. But I think it should be fine. Okay, so we now have our little toadstool. And we can then put this one, my die, back in its case. Always put your things away as you go, because it's very easy to lose them otherwise. You know, quite often you're clearing up, or you have lots of things left on your desk and you go like, well, where did that one come from? Okay, so we can now, I'm going to put this in on here. I'll just grab myself some wet glue. So wet glue and dimensionals, get them both out at the same time. And we're going to put this in on here. So I'm just doing it round the edge. And then that can go in on here. Okay, and then I need to, we're going to have that one up on there, so I'm going to put these up with dimensionals, but you can see how by doing your door and your windows, so doing the door and this part the same colour, it actually works and tones in beautifully. If you do them separate, it doesn't tone in as much. So if you're doing, you know, a red toadstool, you might want to do the door in brown or something like that. But I'm very much, I like to tone it in, and I think it works quite well. So when you get to the end of your dimensionals, remember there's all the pieces round the side, so don't waste any. That should be fine. I might need just a little one in on there. Cut those up. One in the middle, I think, otherwise it won't balance and I'll have a sagging middle. Okay, so we can put this one on straight away. And then we can put that in on the top. So we'll have this one up on there, like that. And then I want to have these toadstools are going to come in there and probably in like that at an angle. And I want the little hedgehog to come there. So I'm going to put all of these up with dimensionals actually, because I want to have the height with it. Get away with 2 on this one. Oops. And then that one. Right. Do that the other way up, so the little bit's at the bottom. And we'll have this other one. Same way. Like that. Okay, so we want our little hedgehog. It's going to be looking in onto where the house is. So we'll have him just like that. Then we want these little toadstools to come one in like that. We'll have the other one in like that. Okay, so that gives us a nice sort of look to it. And then if we were doing it as a new home, because as I say, you've got your little home, you've got your toadstool in there as well, what I would do is, and I'm going to take, I need to grab my little punch. My favourite, as you know at the moment, is the alphabet, because you can put whatever you want on there. So I am going to, let's take this out like that, and it punches that way, so we need to make sure that we have them coming that way. Now, do I want, I think I'm going to have the little flowery things. I always have a background with it because I think that that works perfectly. So let's put this on here, and I've taken out the mint macaron, which might actually be a little dark full strength, so I might do it second generation. We'll have to see. I'm going to put one down to just see how dark it is. No, I think that'll be fine. So H O M E. Okay, and as I say, it's all going to tone in beautifully. One of the things about Stampin' Up that a lot of people join Stampin' Up as demonstrators or start buying is the coordination, that everything coordinates beautifully together, which makes a big difference when you're card making. You want everything to coordinate beautifully. So we need an H, so that's my H. We need an O, which is there. We need an M, and we need an E. So as I say, the good thing about these is that you can do whatever words you want. It's great for doing, cards where you want to put somebody's name on it. So, weddings and anniversaries and things. And because it's a punch, it's great again for beginners, because you don't have to worry about buying die cutting machines or anything like that, because it's all there for you and it punches out beautifully. So H, O, to keep cleaning them up so that they stay nice and clean. M, and the last one is the E. And that's why I tend to do them all together, because you can then see for your spacing that you've got your letters as evenly in the middle as you can. Now you don't have to have them perfect, but if you can get them in. Now I'm just going to put these up here for now. I'll put them back in as soon as I've finished. I'm putting them on top of the case so I know where they go. And then all I need to do now is to take this and we can just take those out. I should get 2 at a time. Need to cut this one out. But you can see you can do it on tiny little scraps of paper as well, so it's quite economical. And as I say, I do love this. Very, very impressed with it. I think it's great because I love, as I say, doing things that are slightly different. And then we will put that H O M E, and as I say, I can do it with dimensionals or I can just keep it like that. But how pretty is that? All coordinated in the what I'm doing with the back, which was a mint macaron. So everything's got mint macaron apart from the little hedgehog, and I think it makes a sweet little card. And there's not a gnome in sight, but you've used the toadstool. So we have used 3 sets with this. We have used the happy hedgehogs for the toadstool and the hedgehog. We have used the Alpha Best for the lovely home on there. And then we've used the new Kindest Gnomes for the toadstool and the dies for cutting it out, although as I say, if you didn't have a die cutting machine, you can quite easily just cut it out with a pair of scissors. So hope you enjoyed it. As always, please stay safe and well, please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.